この冬 X は進化する。ノンストップアクションロックマン X2 スーパーファミコンで発売中。
Alright, I wanted to dedicate a small section of the video to talking about 20XXPO, which is basically a Mega Man fan convention currently live on Kickstarter. It's got about 8 days to go as of this recording, and you should totally check that out and back it if you're a Mega Man fan. Even if you're not a Mega Man fan, you should still totally back this because it's pretty awesome. Link to the Kickstarter in the description. Good luck, guys. I hope you get funded. Mega Man X2 released in December 1994, about a year after Mega Man X1. Did the game change much? No, not really, but X2 is still the perfect sequel to me, and I'll be damned if it didn't try to outdo X1 in every way possible. In terms of what changed or got better, pretty much everything from X1. The stages are a little harder, but they are designed for movement and speed more than platforming challenges. X2 is where I think the X series finally finds its identity. And it didn't take them long. I'd say the X series is more about action, speed, and secret hunting, unlike classic Mega Man, where that series is all about challenging gameplay and platforming around gimmicks. This formula, the one I'm describing about the X series, does become extremely played out by X5 though, and you'll see when we get to certain stages in that game because, oh boy. Trying to find info on the development of X2 is rather difficult, but from what I could find, a large portion of X1's devs returned for X2. And at one point, while designing the Mavericks, they were going to do a design contest, but relented because they wanted the X series to have designs made by artists rather than the imaginations of children. It has more to do with the world of X being darker, more desperate than the cartoony kind of like world that is the classic series. X2 also has a C-Cross4 chip in it, which allows it to make wireframe models. Man, that Star Fox game was really influential on other companies, huh? Let's start with the story. It's been 6 months since X vanquished Sigma, but little has changed. Intel comes in the form of a Maverick factory that X and Green Biker Dude, the most legendary dude on the planet, gets sent to destroy it, hopefully eliminating Sigma's rebellion once and for all. As they approach, the intro stage really shows you how fast X2's stage design is compared to X1, and the intro boss is a giant mechanoid called the CF0. Oh shit, it's actually back. Welcome back there, stupid model number count. Afterwards, we meet the X-Hunters, whose main thing is rewarding you with Zero's parts when you beat them. Yes, his parts. There's 3 members of the X-Hunters, but memory limitations of the Super Nintendo caused them to cut the 4th member they wanted, which would have been a woman, and they would have been called the 4 Guardians. Gee, that sounds oddly familiar. The members are Agile, a fast royalty-free lightsaber user who is basically the group's combat specialist, and a spy, who was cool, calm, and collected. Yeah, okay, you aren't
Bond. James Bond.
Violin, who is so powerful he can destroy Maverick Hunter bases by himself, at least according to the wiki. He is the X-Hunter's muscle, essentially, and I believe it with that giant spike ball. And finally, Serg is the team leader who doesn't resemble a certain mad scientist from 100 years ago, who gathered and repaired Zero's parts and who certainly didn't have the ability to upgrade Zero and give him a royalty-free lightsaber. There is a theory that he resembles Wily like Isaac from X6 does, and no, I don't think he is Wily, because in X5, Sigma states that he's found a new partner while Sergus in X2 is already working for him. That's actually kept quiet and I spoiled the portion of the game for you, but come on, this is X2. It's in the collection. You know Sigma's here. You know he is. The 8 Mavericks we face this time around are way easier to fight than in any other X game. If you go against bosses in a certain order, you could break this game in half. I'll be showing off my usual route in this playthrough, and for this video, I decided to restart the game if I die because I'm not doing my ultimate hunter rules moving forward. I did that for my X1 video because X1 is my favorite game of all time. Doing it for X2 when I have it all up on my channel already in videos that are older than most people who have been alive on the internet would be redundant. So instead, I decided to do it 100% as well with getting the good ending as a requirement. We start our Mavericks with a walking SpongeBob meme, Wire Sponge, whose stage perfectly shows how simple and lazily designed X2's levels can get sometimes. Why is that even there? This stage is a weather control station controlled by a childlike loofah sponge, and yes, he is a loofah sponge. If you use special weapons on these weather orbs, you can trigger certain weather effects, but we won't be seeing that this time. Also, it's hard to miss everything in the level unless you are completely new to X2. Too bad I can't say that about Wire Sponge.
Assume my duties as Hall Monitor.
Wire Sponge might actually be easier than Chill Penguin, because at least Chill Penguin has a chance of hitting you. Just stay clear of his wire attacks, jump to the wall when you see a strike chain movement, destroy these thorns he plants, and beware of his desperation attack, this lightning which always misses if you're in a corner. The strike chain is underrated in some cases and is a perfectly serviceable weapon with high damage. It can propel you to a wall from distances you shouldn't be able to cover, and when it's charged it can go full screen, that's cool. Next up is Wheel Gator, who I'm sure is an Australian and is highly violent even towards his fellow hunters. He left a tooth in one of them, which is metal as hell. Are we sure he isn't a saltwater croc? His stage is a giant gator tank.
Have a look at this. It's the big bloke himself.
We can get to the buster really easily using the strike chain. It usually takes me 1 or 2 tries in total to get to it. The buster's level 3 charge now fires twice, meaning it's now worth charging the buster for how long it takes. Getting the heart take is also easy. I usually just damage boost because
I also like to live dangerously.
Speaking of, Wheel Gator isn't too bad. He lurks under the water in the arena, but with the strike chain, his weakness, you can infinite him. Otherwise, he drags for a boss so easy. The spin wheel is an amazing weapon. While it looks like it doesn't have range, the wheel deals the best damage in the game out of any weapon I use. It melts enemies. It's like shooting the chainsaw from Doom. Charging it shoots energy in 9 directions. The X Hunters start to appear in the levels, so naturally I go to Overdrive Ostrich, mainly for 2 things. Zero's part and the dash boots, which leads me into a nice segue into a technique that can break the game's movement. Neon jumps. What, you think I'm playing X2 without neon jumps? Yeah, right. Neon jumps are tricky to pull off because of the timing, but for me, watching the animation helps a lot for getting the timing down. Watching the animation will help with your timing, as you have to press 3 buttons in the span of maybe 1 second, or do what I do, which is double tap dash, then press jump and shoot during the dash animation. I can't do double neons, which are harder to do, but man, they look cool. Now, where was I? Oh yeah, Overdrive Ostrich's level, aka the Ride Chaser stage. I'll let the stage speak for me. That heart tank is dickishly placed. Maybe blowing up this nuclear missile will make me feel better about the level.
Everybody, you're dead already. This whole place, everything you see is gone.
At least, I think it was a nuke X destroyed? Whatever, Overdrive Ostrich is easy even without Crystal Hunter. He loves to run at you, and running off the screen seems like a good idea, right? Until you realize he's fast enough to keep up with you, jump from the background, and chase you again. Must be that confidence he got from Sigma after an injury literally clipped his wings. The quickest way I found to kill him is to keep him on the screen for as long as possible, and then start blasting him. The Sonic Slicer isn't a bad weapon, but there are better. Its charged form is way better than normally shooting it. It fires these projectiles into the air and they rain down on enemies. They're actually way more powerful than they look. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. We fight Violin here, and his chain deals so much damage that there is a real threat of me dying here. It doesn't happen, thankfully. He also jumps and shoots downwards towards you and shoots on the ground and like an upward projectile spread. Fuck him. He is a battle of attrition at this point in the game. And you get to fight him later. Yeah, you get to look forward to this boss in a harder variation later. Next up is Bubble Crab, a greedy Reploid who only cares about money and will do anything for that money. But first, meet the Sea Cantler. It has a bevy of attacks and has over 114 hit points combined based on its individual parts. Each part has its own hit points. The caudal fin, the big one on the back, has the most hit points of any enemy at the game at like 40 or 64. You can instantly destroy it with a Giga Crush or well-placed Sonic Slicer Charge Shot. The Deep Sea is basically the mini-boss before we get to Agile, who's fast, does Genbu sword attacks before Zero did them in X5. He goes down pretty easily, if I'm being honest. Bubble Crab isn't difficult at all. He flinches whenever he's hit, and the spin wheel wrecks him. The Bubble Splash is probably my favorite weapon to use in this game. It gets more use and mileage out of me than any other weapon. Each bubble has its own hitbox, and the number of bubbles changes depending on how long the fire button is pressed. Its charged attack is a shield, which is very useful. Crystal Snail is next, which seems odd until you realize I played this stage because Surges is here. The beginning of the crystal mine has a heart tank over this large gap. You can get the mech over the pit by tapping the jump button enough times, but I messed it up here and have to take the slow moving platform back. Surges is a little bitch. He dies to Sonic Slicer charge shots easily. Yeah, retreat and get wrecked. The rest of the stage is a cakewalk, including the mini-boss, which you could sneak the mech into. The helmet parts here are just lame. They expose secret passages, and X2 tries to go out of its way to keep its secrets more hidden, but it usually fails. Even as a kid, when this game came out in 1994, I knew where everything was. Crystal Snail himself goes down easy enough. Truth be told, most of these bosses are easy. He could slow down time like the grump he is. Crystal Hunter is a fine enough weapon. It turns enemies into platforms, and its charge slows time down and can break speedruns. I never got footage for that, but you can find it all on YouTube. After that, we have all of Zero's parts, so it's time for Flamestag, whose stage is a volcano.
We're surrounded by liquid hot magma.
You spend most of the stage getting chased by lava or finding secrets like the E-Tank here at the beginning. The money shot of this level is X outrunning an eruption. Damn. Flamestag isn't worth a dignified response. He dies easily and pathetically to the Bubble Splash. The Speedburner is a very good, easy-to-use weapon. It deals massive damage and when charged up is the beta version of the Nova Strike. Morphmoth's Junkyard is next, and it's here I gain the body armor and Giga Crush, an attack I never use because it requires you to eat damage for the cost of a screen nuke. It's fine I guess, but we already have weapons that are way better. It's nice for newer players though, and I used it when I was new to X2 back in 1994. The level itself is fine, it's just there. It has two mini-bosses and these junk robots. Oh wait, I looked it up. They're called Old Robots and they're controlled by Pararoid S38. I don't care what anybody tells me, stupid model number count 6 and we're moving on. Morphmoth is very lazy and lackadaisical. Finally, a Maverick I relate to. He starts up in a cocoon which you can burn before hatching. His Maverick form really isn't hard. I mean, his first form is literally just stick to the wall, run around the room while shooting him. And then his second form is just shoot him until he dies. Watch out for the beam. Easy dub. The Silk Shot is the Dust Crusher from Mega Man 4, safer at changing what projectile is shot depending on the stage. Most people won't notice it because the weapon is weaker than most of the game's better ones, and I'm including the charge variation of the Silk Shot too. Moving on to Magda Centipede, who himself is a ninja. A brainwashed ninja. His stage revolves around stealth due to these spotlights, and if you trigger one, get ready to restart the level because you aren't getting the heart tank unless you know how to neon. After that, go through these boxes, make sure you have a charged beta Nova Strike ready, and dash to the wall for that sub-tank. We also have two mini-bosses, the game's most infamous, I think. We have this admittedly cool and ahead of its time for consoles wireframe model boss here, and this boss that gets more powerful, X gets scanned. It's called the Raider Killer, and no, I am not stupid model numbering that shit. I consider Magna Centipede the hardest Maverick in the game, but he goes down easily because I have Silk Shot. It destroys his tail, making this fight really trivial. The Megamind has been considered a great weapon, but it's slow, you need to attach it to something, and you need to wait for it to explode. You get huge damage, sure, but the weapon doesn't work with a speedy game like X2, save for boss battles, I think. It's just not a weapon for me is what I'm saying. Now it's time to talk about the X-Hunter levels, which are fine for the most part. They aren't super memorable, save for that stage music. The first X-Hunter stage is mostly these crushers before an easy fight with Violin because you have armor and a charged double splash available. The second X-Hunter stage I think is the most memorable of these three because it has an underwater section and you have this climb. But Surgus might be the hardest fight in the game. He's basically a Wily fight complete with machine. Alright, he deserves getting cheese. Excuse me for just a second. Finally, we have X-Hunter Stage 3, in which you're supposed to use these platforms, but I just neon up. I neon up to a secret area, which leads to the Shoryuken, the game's best technique, but don't get too comfortable because while it deals massive damage, all of the animation has to hit in order to kill in one go. If you want to see how powerful the Shoryuken is, here you go. Sigma avenge me? So he was here the entire time? What the fuck is this? A JoJo reference? The next level is your standard rematch level, and I'll be honest, I don't really care for them. They don't bore me anyway. Like, the Shoryuken does make this go faster, but I prefer to make them suffer and get this alternate death animation for Wire Sponge. Afterwards, Sigma shows back up and tells X to meet him at the central computer. Okay, Sigma, what do you have for me?
Breathtaking. I shall call him Mini-Me.
Listen, I'm not trying to do Austin Powers puns, but they just happen naturally, I can't help myself. But oh no, Zero comes in and destroys Not Zero, leading to our confrontation with Sigma, which two Shoryukens take care of. Otherwise, he isn't too bad. Use Sonic Slicer on his first form and Strike Chain on his second. Speaking of that second form, it's that viral form we all know and love, which blew my mind back in '94. When X defeats Sigma, Sigma spouts about the Wily numbers and asks why Zero just didn't kill X outright. I don't know, maybe he went psycho or something. X2 is definitely worth playing at least once, if only to see how X2 improves on X1's design. It tries and mostly succeeds, mainly in the Maverick levels. The X-Hunter stages don't really test the player enough, I think, but are still enjoyable enough. Overall, a satisfying experience that I encourage any Mega Man fan or casual player to experience even once.